Really excited today to bring you two things. One is the screaming puppy in the background, if you can hear her. She is still learning we've had her a week at the time of this recording, and she's still learning how to be by herself. So my apologies ahead of time if you hear any of that. And more importantly, to introduce Faith Morris, who is a remote ops partner.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Really excited to chat with you. We're going to talk a lot about client journey today. But before we do that, I would love for you to just introduce yourself, tell everybody what your business looks like today, what exactly it is that you do.
Yes, my name is, my name is Faith Morris. I am an operations strategist for organized psychopath entrepreneurs with small teams. And I currently am supporting, entrepreneurs in different stages of their businesses. It's funny, the word organized psychopath kind of came to be because, some people were solopreneurs, some people were small teams, but everybody that I loved working with at the beginning and started to work with were crazy. And they were so organized, but they just didn't have enough hours in the day. Right? A lot of priority entrepreneurs. And I really found my niche for understanding that, organized psychopaths, right? They're so busy, but they're so organized, but ultimately like the infrastructure of their business needs support. And that's really where I come in, co-creating. I don't create systems for anybody listening. I don't do systems, but I co-create an infrastructure for people's businesses with them that allows them to be more efficient.
Okay, so two things. One is love the psychopath, love it, because I feel like a lot of people would shy away from using a word like that.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that just makes you stand out even more to your ideal client. So I think that's amazing. And number two is, explain the difference between systems and what you do.
Yeah. So you would see, especially in the online space, right? When you think of operations, the first thing that comes to people's minds is automations, is systems. So we have the Dubsado builds, the ClickUps, the Asanas, all super, super important. And what's really funny, right? I hate that stuff. Like I have a referral network for that kind of stuff. It's not my passion. It's not what I'm good at. I understand intrinsically that people need them, how they operate within a business. That's what system, they go operation system strategist, but I think we all get, grouped in there. I really come in on a consultation strategy implementation part of operations. So I become this human container for people in their businesses, right? I'm the one that is, okay, we're problem solving and we're also implementing. And I'm this like human sounding board to give you momentum to actually move, sounds corny, but like to move that needle, but to get you going. And this happens to a lot of visionaries, right? Like you can get a Dubsado set up, you can get a Notion set up, but that doesn't change the like 8 million ideas you constantly have, right? I'm coming in to help contain those 8 million ideas, create strategy of like, okay, how do we bring this into your business? How does this fit in your life? And I think that's something that makes me really, really different is I am very big on taking what's happening in your personal life and what's happening in your professional life and bringing them together because one does not live without the other. And operationally, your business cannot function if you do not understand that your personal life affects the operations of your professional life.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I'm curious, and I think that this is it will be really helpful for my pupils for you to talk about. Now, I assume that, or maybe you don't, because maybe your messaging is so clear that you don't, but I assume that you potentially get a lot of, or maybe some pushback. We're like, no, wait, but I want somebody to set up the systems that are going to support what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So I would love to hear how you handle that.
Yeah. And this happens a lot. And, anybody that's listening or has been following my journey, it's funny. People are creating agencies, micro agencies. When people start to scale, right? I am creating an efficiency circle. I am creating an internal and external network of people that I have vetted, I have trusted, that I have, contractual, like affiliate commission relationships with. 90% of people that come to me, I am at some point referring out to somebody else they need. You cannot find unicorns. Unicorns don't exist, right? And most of the time when people are coming to me, there's like quick wins and deep-rooted issues, right? System are quick wins because it's something, and quick wins in terms of like, hey, this will solve this, like that, right? It might take a few months, but like that to set it up, but that's what solves that versus like the infrastructure of your business, how your team functions, and that's all very deep rooted and takes time. When people come to me and we get to a point where they're like, okay, no, but like I do need a Dubsado, great. I'm going to give you 3 people that are in my network to interview, to interview, to think about hiring, right? Because first of all, not everybody's a fit for everybody. I always have 2 or 3 people within those categories for people to go outsource. I love outsourcing that kind of stuff. And ultimately, if that's an initial conversation, I'm very, very honest with people of like, oh, you actually don't need this. You literally just need someone to set this up. 90% of the time, though, it's deeper than just, I need some automations. I need to, fix this system. It's like, actually, you have some other processes internally that need looking at. But ultimately, I'm always sending people to my internal efficiency circle of people that I trust, I have vetted. Because I'm crazy about client experience, I am very picky about the people that I partner with.
Okay, so since you created that segue, let's talk about client experience, client journey.
Yes.
And first of all, let's define it. So like, how would you define client journey / client experience?
Great question.
Pop quiz.
Yeah, right. So client experience is more than just systems. I think we use the word client experience a lot. Client experience a lot versus a client journey. But client experience has become this bubble of systems only, right? This is like when you think, and again, you see a lot of operations people, selling and advertising, and it's all okay, right? Like, hey, this will fix your client experience or make your client experience seamless with a Dubsado and a ClickUp setup and these automations. My message is that your client journey is a lot more than systems. Systems does not make a good client experience. And it's funny, I just posted on Threads, yesterday about how one mistake, one missed automation or email, that is not a make or break of client experience, right? Is it something that could be better? For sure. But the way that you make people feel before they work with you, as they're inquiring to work with you, during the process of onboarding, client delivery, and after, that feeling is what makes or breaks client experience. And there absolutely has to be an ecosystem to support that from an automation and like physical system standpoint, but it's not the be end all, right? And I gave the example of right now, I'm a solopreneur. I'm the only person on my team. I was going on vacation the day before I sold an offer, and there's certain automations that don't make sense for me right now as I'm creating my offer ecosystem, developing things. Anyway, I sent a broken link. Okay. It was like the day before I went on vacation. It happened. Like it wasn't the end of the world. It was fixed within like 2 minutes of her emailing me to say, hey, sorry, this link is broken. Do I think that my client experience is awful and she hates me? No, because she's obsessed with me and she wants to work with me. And like that, it's a small detail, but it's not going to make or break. The rest of her client experience of the value she gets, the energy I put in, and the follow-up and the constant, like that is part of the client journey. Communication. How quickly do you respond? How do you respond, right? For me, it's constantly expanding. This is literally more than automation. So much more than automation in the system.
What came to mind when you were speaking was that I think that a lot of people go towards my client experience, client journey, make sure everything works, like
Correct.
Whatever, because it's tangible.
Yes.
Right? It's easy to see.
Yes.
And you don't have to think beyond that. You're like, okay, this works. Great. It functions amazing.
Correct.
Whereas what you're talking about actually goes deeper than that. And it's more like soft skills. It's more like, right?
Correct.
Like how you show up. And when you're talking, I think about dating.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
And the parallels that exist
Yes.
in there. So I would love to hear some examples. Like, how do you make your clients obsessed with you? How do you make your clients like, yes, I freaking love this girl, like before they even sign up to work with you?
So That's really, and it's really, I was literally having this conversation with somebody yesterday about, they were warning me about someone I was thinking about hiring, and the smallest detail of the lack of follow-up or communication, right? You can't automate a check-in. I mean, I guess you can, but in terms of you're in like long engagements with people and that sort of thing, like you can't automate, hey, genuinely checking in, how did this thing go that you mentioned on our call last week, those sort of things. So I think my first number one tip is keep it personal. Personal touch points are a massive part of client experience. Remembering what somebody said on a call, checking in with, something they mentioned they were doing last week that they didn't get to, right? That's like one. Two is engagement. Client experience doesn't just stop before you start working with someone or immediately after, right? There's a relationship that evolves when you work with somebody, and the online space is incredible for personal touch points of like, how are you? Or liking or commenting or engaging or reposting. That costs $0. And that's marketing, right? Like that is marketing. That is relationship. That is access. When you like something, comment and stuff, like you're giving people access to, oh, she's in my world. She's in my orbit, right?
So I wanted to share. Oh, sorry,
No,
I'm jumping in here because I wanted to not forget what I was going to say with the first piece, which is, this dog is she's very excited about what I'm about to say, which is so when you're talking about following up with clients and doing personal check-ins and things like that, and what comes to mind for me is that like, oh, I'm going to forget. Like, right, how do I keep track of all of these things? So because I know I have a bad memory, and this is where systems do come into play, right? Like I put everything in my ClickUp, and I have notes in there for people. And so that way, and I also like when I close it, I can come back as a task for 3 months from now to check back in with them, just to stay connected, things like that. And then I have my notes to go back to. So having the systems to support you so that way you don't have to spend so much time and brain space on it will also make all of this so much easier as well. So I wanted to throw that in there as well. So kind of like a...
Totally. And I think sometimes that people forget, like it takes time to, figure out like what your checkpoints are. Right? Depending where you're at in business. Like if you're just starting out, if you're a year, or if you've changed things. I also think you can't automate caring, right? You can't automate on ClickUp to check in with her dog. Like, on a call that you had, maybe she mentioned like, oh, she had to take her dog to the vet for something, or she was overwhelmed with a client project. Like you can't foresee those things happening. But when there's money that's like transactional, it's very easy to just become like what your checklist is, or versus like, what are these personal touch points that are happening in my experience when I'm talking to somebody, or what are the touch points I can include after I talk with somebody that actually are that little bit extra of, wow, she remembered that, or, oh, wow, she followed up about something that wasn't maybe like on our original list or something, right? To me, that little extra, like you can't automate caring, but sometimes when you're in this rinse and repeat of the same offers, the same things, it's very easy to become hardened to the same process. And I talk about like this about giving birth, right? Like doctors and nurses see babies get born every single day, right? But for you, it's the very first time you're having a baby. It's a moment you can't get back, right? If I'm like the 800th person you've worked with, on the same check, like it's very easy to just go rinse and repeat. And so I think checking in with like, okay, how am I actually making this people feel like they want to talk about me and talk about my experience with other people? Like, I think you need to be thinking about that. Branding is a huge part of that. There's so many small details in branding that are experiential. And I'll give you some examples of like experiences that I'm in. I'm like, oh, this is how you get people to be obsessed with you. And again, just for everyone listening, right? It's going to vary based on where you're at in business. If you were to look at my branding and my website right now, like, do I feel like that matches who I am currently? No, but it is coming. It is coming at the end of the year, right? Like it's that stuff takes time. I'm currently in Dream Young, which is an offer strategy program with Seals Lockley. If you stalk Seals and you see, her branding, if you're in any of her programs, the Slack channel, we're on Butter, like small details of like, you get on these calls and you feel like you're in this world. Those are the smallest details that make the most massive difference. Like, oh, I can have a Zoom call that's like branded, has this waiting room with music. That has nothing to do with automations. That's how do I feel as a consumer when I'm sitting waiting to get on these weekly calls? A few colors and a different piece of tech, right? Being very intentional about how your brand is showcased across your social presence. Massive. And
so,
yeah.
Okay. And then, sorry. No, finish your thought. So if we want to take that from a coaching experience to a done for you experience,
yeah.
What would you say, like maybe some things that you've implemented or some things you can have somebody who's like a BA or OBM service provider be like, oh, you can like sprinkle in some of these things. That would be really cool. And your clients would be like, oh my God, like, I love you. This is amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a few things. And again, these are like such small things that like genuinely anybody could do. So one, I mean, majority of service providers use Slack, right? Brand your Slack channel, right? Brand your Slack channel. Like that is such a small, there's,
Okay, wait. I have so much fun. Like that's my favorite part of creating a Slack channel is like changing the colors and doing cool things.
I mean, tell you the amount of purple Slacks that I'm in is a great, or like even just naming your Slack. Like my Slack workspace is called the Organized Psychopaths Lounge. Like that's literally what it's called. I bought Haley. She's an OBM. She has an offer called Slacktastic. It's $12. I bought it. Completely changed my life. Like I literally was like, oh, this is just a small detail that the minute I onboard and they're in it, they feel like they're in my world. And they have a welcome message.
Wait, what
it's
is
called
it?
Slacktastic. It's a $12 digital product. I'll like send it to you so you can link in the show notes.
I love you're shouting out all these people. That's so fun.
Because this is when I am built and I am thriving because of the circle I'm creating for myself that is supportive of other people because I'm so crazy. I am crazy. So I'm so picky about who because the people that I'm referring out have to have a client experience that I'm proud to say, hey, they're worth the money. And also I am getting a financial kickback from majority of them, right? Like they're not, and I'm not doing it because of money, but I'm doing it because I have really strong partnerships, and I only partner with people, to be clear, right? That have bought from me or that have been through my program or I've been through theirs, or they are an aligned creative colleague. Like they're a business colleague where we have those kind of partnerships. I'm very intentional because I think there's a lot of people like affiliates and how can you refer somebody if you haven't used their stuff, if you don't know their values? Like this girl that I'm friends with that was telling me about somebody she was warning me about. I haven't used her before, but I love her. I love her personality. I vibe, but you also don't know till you're in it, right? And that's always going to happen. But if I can take the work out for other people of the risk, because we've all been burned, money is valuable. Like I'm so happy to do that with people that I know are good service providers. So Slacktastic is a digital product that literally it's $12 that like teaches you what makes a really good Slack workspace, how to brand it, whatever. That was such a small detail. And literally I just onboarded somebody last week and she was the first person I onboarded since I've done it. And she was like, oh my God, this is so cute. Like, I love this. And like, that's all I needed.
I love that.
You know?
Yeah.
So
like just like tiny little touches to make people feel special because now you stand out. And it doesn't have to be some big like circus of like, throwing balloons and whatnot, having a parade for somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My second piece of advice is to write down what's like the first step of it. There's two steps. Is to write down what do you want people to feel when they talk, when they're in your offers, right? When I started writing mine down, it was like, I want people to feel excited that they're in this like exclusive club, that they have this access to me that nobody else has. I want them to feel like I'm their number one cheerleader. So when I was writing all this stuff down, that triggered me. Okay, I need to look at my tech stack and my like the branding, like the layout of my tech stack and even my automations, the wording I was using, right? Right now I'm on Zoom. Zoom is fine, but my Zoom renewal in January, I'm probably going to be moving over to Butter. Why?
God, Butter is so
it's
cute.
So cute, but it is, I'm seriously, it has literally, I've been in a one-on-one offer with Butter. I've been in a group program with Butter. And the way I feel when I'm on butter in these programs, I'm like, that is how I want. And I have yet again to see a different like tick stack that like butter that operates like that. And again, it's just a different subscription. That's all. Right? It's not a massive.
That's how I feel about Flowdesk a little bit. I'm like, I love Flowdesk. Like, it's so pretty and it makes me happy.
Okay, yeah.
And like, it warms my heart.
And I'm on ConvertKit, right? But again, I am like, people are like die for Flowdesk over the like aesthetic, which I think if that.
Okay, listen, it's not the most like, it doesn't have all the things, but like I bought it in beta. So like, whatever, I'll keep it forever. Like it has what I need, and like, I'm very happy and it makes me happy to be on there. So,
but that's
and, like,
important to you.
People are happy to see my emails.
Correct.
Right?
And that's important to you, right? Like where it's really funny because that's a really great example. Here's me. And if you follow, like, I hate design. Design gives me anxiety. Like I'm on ConvertKit. Like you got an email from me today. Like it's probably not formatted because honestly, that isn't important to me. And I don't think to my clients, like they know that about me, right? But if you're somebody whose brand is like embedded in a certain way and aesthetic, that Flowdesk stuff is going to be key for people feeling, oh, this is that email coming through. This is like, do you know what I mean? But you don't know that until you really write down what's important to you. Design is not important to me. That is not on my list right now. Like people working with me, I could sell something in a Google Doc and I would be like, okay, that's fine for now. For other people, it's like a make or break.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting too, because what you're talking about really is being authentic to who you are and having that shine through and really amplify that. As opposed to, I think, right, like I think a lot of people feel like, oh, this is how it's done and I need to look professional or I need to look whatever way. And so I need to follow these steps 1, 2, 3 and do this. Whereas you're like, no, like go all in on the things that you care about and like screw the rest of it because you don't care about that.
Yeah.
So,
and also like
the clients you attract, you also like, like you want to be friends with them. So
exactly. And like you're going to
appreciate the same
and you're
going to
make mistakes. Like you're going to make mistakes and your clients, like if you're making the same mistake over and over, or you've missed something, like, let me tell you something. The online space is very small. People talk. If I cannot tell you the amount of conversations I've had of like well-known service providers, right? And I'm getting told by people who probably, oh, their client experience sucks. Or like, they're not getting back to me as per the like there's so many things, right? That like just getting back to people, success like speed within the 24 hours. If you're in something that's like ongoing support, those expectations, like that is the make or break. But like, here's an example. Somebody that I hired, there was all these tech issues in my onboarding. And guess what? I'm like, it is okay. Like, it's better that happened with me, right? That like, I have so much grace for it, but now you just know how to make it better and make it for the next time. If I'm paying thousands of dollars for something, oh, absolutely. I expect a certain level of like intentionality and detail, right? But the amount of people that are in these like support, programs in their offers that aren't responding to clients' messages within 24 hours, I'm like, that is horrific. That is how to break client experience.
Yeah. So, okay. So I love this. And I think the biggest takeaway is one, it's intentionality. And so many things come down to intentionality, right? And not just like, it can be really difficult too as a service provider because you're doing and doing so many things to not pause for a second and take a step back and look at it from their point of view. And on the flip side of that, to give yourself grace that these things take time. Like you were saying, your website does not reflect who you are. It's like, okay, you know what's coming. And like, but you're doing the small things that are easy and quick, but make the biggest difference.
Totally.
And you're doing it with heart, right? And I think that that's a big piece of it as well. Do it with heart, be intentional, and give yourself grace that you can't do it all like at once.
Totally. And I think people forget the most powerful part of your client experience is literally being yourself. Like, I can't tell you the amount of amount of time that I sat on the organized psychopath messaging where I was like, oh, it feels a little bit aggressive. But I was like, wait, I am aggressive. Like, I am aggressive. And ultimately, like, I can't work with the unorganized type B people. So why am I so scared? Because it seems like, oh, I shouldn't be saying that. And I was honestly, the comparison bubble that happens online is so toxic. And let me tell you, it's so much easier said than done, but my life changed. My business has changed because I stopped giving a F what anybody else thought. Like, I remember my sister asking me, like, what is it? Like, what is your brand coming across? Like, aggressive? And I was like, I guess. Like, yeah, but that's who I am. And if you want somebody that is going to safely challenge you, be like, authoritative, like help you build authority while, challenging you and like being very straight up about like make sure you're rooted in reality. Yeah, you're going to hire me. If you aren't into that, you're never going to hire me. I'm not everybody's cup of tea.
And,
like, I know that.
And I think that the important thing about this is, like, you always hear, like, you can't, don't sell to everybody because then you sell to nobody type of a thing. And what you're saying is along those lines, but more about not just like, I think people think about it in terms of like niche.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And not necessarily like personality or like who you want to work with. And whatnot, like things like that. So I like who you are. Are you from New York? Where are you from?
Yeah, so I'm born. Yeah. I'm born.
Yes.
Born
Okay.
and raised.
I'm from Boston originally. I know you.
I'm born and raised New York, but I currently live in Jersey. Yeah. But you're right. It is. Okay. It's literally what is it about me, right? My client experience is so good because I'm obsessed with my offers, my service, who I'm supporting. Like, that's why my client experience is awesome, is that I'm magnetic. Yes. I want to be magnetic, right? You should want...
Okay, wait. Yeah. We have to pause. Okay. Because what you're saying is what I help people do. So we're going to promote myself for a minute and then bring it back to me.
Let's go.
Right? Because if you are, like, if you love what you do, you can't help but be yourself and be excited about it.
Exactly.
Right? Like, if you are like, no, like, you freaking need this. Like, I'm going to change your world, and you are authentic about it. And you're like, no, like, I love it. And like, people, that is magnetic, and people love it, and people want to work with you. And a lot of service providers kind of fall into these traps, and I fell into it too myself. And this, like, instead of working in their zone of genius and like their unique magic, but is what I call it, they work in like their zone of excellence. Yeah, I can do it. It's fine. But they're not like obsessed with it. And they don't realize that this changes everything.
Yes. Yeah. And I will say, to like partner with like very, that this goes really, that's a great segue to like explain, some of what I do is diagnosing that. So when you work alone or when you start your business, you start in that zone of genius, right? You didn't start just to whatever, right? But as time goes on and you start doing the job of like 6 people without help, or then maybe you hire help and your role changes and you have a diagnosis, like my ops diagnostic, and this is like something I've just gone through now with a few people, of like sitting down with a founder of a business to be like, actually, forget like even the fancy words of like, what is your zone? Like, what do you love to do in your business? And how much of your day-to-day week, like day-to-day and your week, are you actually doing it? And what needs to happen in the infrastructure of your business to allow you to be back in that zone of genius? Like, the amount of people that hire, have teams that have not, like I call it, like it's an audit, right? Like, you need a tune-up. Like, you need a tune-up and to check in with yourself of like, holy shit, very quickly, I've moved out of my zone of genius because I grew. I got more clients. I'm now doing 3 roles. I'm now managing people. Yeah, no shit, you're not like doing what you love because you grew too fast, or you haven't hired the right people to take over the things that allow you to go back and do what you love. And I think that is something where
or you listen to, a lot of people get like really generic advice in terms of how to grow their business.
Yes.
And then that actually strips them of their love for it, because now, again, they're, like you said, they're not doing what they love to do. They're doing like the things they have to do to grow their business.
Yeah.
And then they don't like it anymore.
Yeah.
And then their business starts failing and they wonder why, right? Because they're doing all the right things.
And I find a lot of people I talk to, it's not even like they hate for me, like the ones I talk to, it's not like, oh, I hate my business. It's like they're just going through the motions. So they're like, okay, I got to sell this. I got to sell this many to make this much money. To like, they're just in this hamster wheel where I'm like, entrepreneurship is literally too stressful to just be like in a hamster wheel. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, you're constantly thinking about your business, living, breathing. You have no, like, I cannot do anything short of like being obsessed with what I'm doing, because then it's not worth it to me, but I'm always shocked.
Well, because then you might as well just have a job,
literally,
where you can like shut your brain off and you come home. Yeah.
But it happens. I think we underestimate how quickly we fall into that pattern. And because the online space, like the opportunities are endless, and it's so easy to get shiny object syndrome. Like even last night I was talking to someone, I was like, oh my God, I have this idea for this like little digital product. And I was like, oh my God, Faith, what are you doing? Like, stop. You don't need this right now, nor do you have time. I'm like launching an offer next month. I'm like, it's shiny object. And then that's where client experience starts to get miss out. The intentionality, you lose it because you're so wrapped up in a million half-baked projects that you forget what actually needs to happen for people to continually like be obsessed with you and what you put out.
Do you think that this is the most important piece to you? The client experience, client journey, client intentionality. What is it that about it that made you so passionate about it?
So I spent years, traveling the world, working in hospitality over the world. If I had it my way, every single person in the universe would have to have a waitressing or waiter job before anything else. That experience alone, that created, and again, also being American, let's be very clear. Americans have a very different customer support, customer experience, reputation than other countries.
Sure. I live in Spain. Yeah. And I won't even there's no customer service.
I lived in Australia for 8 years. I just came back from Greece. Whatever. To me, it has to be the most important part because that is what differentiates you from other service providers. It's the one thing that, listen, anybody can be an operations strategist. There's a million copywriters out there. There's a million designers. What makes them different is their operational client experience working with you. And I don't know if you know, my husband and I own a masonry business in Monmouth County, right? A subcontracting business. We have surpassed businesses in New Jersey because I'm psychotic. And I created a client experience of just calling people back, texting back within 24 hours. Success like speed. And I was listening to this podcast the other day about the people that have been the most successful, this woman was sharing, is that it's not that they came up with the idea first, or it's that they literally didn't wait. They didn't wait for it to be perfect. They just did it. Success likes speed. You want to go and make things perfect or whatever? Great. No. You need to get shit done. And you need to be quick about it, right? And you need to be intentional about it. And so when I created our inquiry to how we email, to how my husband doesn't do estimates, we are more expensive than people around us. I don't care because you're paying for me. You are paying for a journey that makes you feel seen, intentional, and that gets you talking to other people of oh my God, their communication, they're this, they're that. Not just, he built me a beautiful wall. When people talk about you as a person more than the automation, then you know you have it. So that's why I think it's the most important. And that's why it's worth investing in. But and like you said, the systems that support it are extremely important, but they also require a higher budget, right? The system I want to build for myself, and I will next year, is probably around 8 to 10 grand, right? That's a massive investment. So right now there's some manual parts of my process, but I think I had an awesome client experience, but it's not anywhere where I want it to be yet. But I know that people talk about me in a sense of how I make them feel and how they see I make other people feel.
Okay. I think there is nothing more that you could possibly say that will top that. So, the question that I like to end on, and I feel like it's going to be related to what we were talking about now, but if there's something you want to add, please do, is the biggest scaling tip that you have. So maybe from your own journey or from what you see with your clients that can serve our VAs and OBMs and service providers here.
Yeah. So you mean them you scaling yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
That's a very good segue into my new offer, Andrea.
Oh my God, Faith. Please talk about it.
Okay. My number one tip for scaling is do not scale until you know who you need. And you don't always just need a VA, okay? Scaling or wanting to grow doesn't mean your first hire is a VA. So in August, I am launching Before You Bring Them On. And it is an operational diagnostic for solopreneurs that are getting ready to make their first hire, that need help, that want to grow. The amount of people that think they know what they need or what needs to happen when they scale, I can't even tell you. The minute you hire, your role changes. Do you know how your role changes? Do you know the expectations of what your role is going to be and their role is going to be when you bring them on? Because it's more than just delegating, right? How do you create a team or start to bring on a team with intention? And my job is to help you create that and to make sure you are scaling and hiring correctly for what your vision and values are for your business. But do not scale without being very clear about what your needs and auditing the needs. What do you want to be doing in your business? What do you not want to be doing? What do you want to delegate? What do you want to hold on to? So many people just think, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. I need so much help. Great, hire a, you talk to your friend, they're like, oh my God, hire this VA. Well, like, what? You haven't even diagnosed what you freaking want to be doing in your business once they come up. So actually may not be a VA. Maybe it's an OBM. Maybe it's a marketing. Maybe it's a funnels expert. But you need expertise to help process that. And that is worth every penny, in my opinion, to make sure, because the amount of people that hire, fire, contract, like it's a mess. It's a mess. So that's what I would say.
We didn't even plan that. That was very organic. Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom, all of your tips, and all of your passion. And I know that you brought like you have inspired me to go on and like, I don't know, improve something. So I'm like, oh, I can improve something. Let me do, right? Like, let me do it. So how can we stay in touch with you? Where can we find you? Yes. Where can we hear all about all of your chaotic, psychotic,
all the things,
all of ramblings?
Yes. So if you're not on my email list, feel free to join my email list, which is on my website. But I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Thread, and I send a weekly newsletter every Tuesday. And I have a podcast that is genuinely just a monthly updates of my journey. And if you're interested in that, that's on Spotify, the non-traditional resume. But if you're feel free to go into my, I'm on Instagram for Thread, but I just use it for stories. But feel free, I'm always down for a voice memo chat in the DMs. And I'd love to meet you.
Awesome. Thank you, Faith, so much. This was amazing.
Thank you.
And all the things will be linked. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, Andrea.